This is the Wrestlebread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 159 of the Wrestlebread Podcast. We are in a new era, ladies and gentlemen, and I still cannot believe after all these years of, everyone wanting Vince to retire, for there to be a change, and, especially with the initial success of the Black and Gold NXT, for Triple H to kind of take over things and whatnot, that we're finally here. We have finally arrived at, I guess, new era, the Papa era, I guess we should call it. And, I don't know. I still feel weird about it. I still can't believe it, because now, things will go the way that fans would like it to go. And, I don't know. I'm waiting for Vince McMahon to reveal himself as the higher power, just like he did, back in the day with the corporate ministry storyline and whatnot. But, it feels like it's real. But let me get into some more of my thoughts with that. Vince McMahon is not entirely gone. He still has 80% of the voting power with WWE. He still owns, I believe, 80% of the shares as well. So he's not entirely gone. It's possible that he may still have some influence, whether that's through Nick Khan or his daughter, or possibly even Triple H as well. And then another thing that fans have to also remember is that while we are getting, WWE is now showing, from what we saw on Raw, something called wrestling. Now that we're getting that, people have to remember that WWE, Vince McMahon has established WWE as a entertainment brand. So unfortunately, a lot of the sponsors, maybe the networks and stuff like that, kind of expect a bit of a more entertainment feel, like more media and stuff like that from WWE. So I don't know if we're going to completely get, the whole, a Black and Gold NXT, on the main roster and whatnot, that we're going to get nothing but straight wrestling. Because while NXT Black and Gold did have storylines and stuff like that, and it had some characters, it really relied on the wrestling portion of everything. So I don't know. I feel like it may take a year or even less for us to really see the clear difference between what Vince McMahon had created versus what it exists now after he left. Who knows? WWE could be going on sale. The mouse ears could buy it or something crazy like that. So, we just got to strap in and just, go for the ride. Like I keep saying, 2022 wrestling is so crazy. But let me get into some rumors too before I go more into, what happened at SummerSlam and Raw. So according to Fightful, Bobby Lashley had mentioned that a boxing company rep had approached him about fighting Tyson. And negotiations are still in the early stages, but apparently he is allegedly interested. I don't know, Bobby. I know Mike Tyson is old, but Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson. I definitely remember, staying up late at night to watch his damn pay-per-views. And, luckily I didn't pay, obviously. Watching the pay-per-views, getting to the main event just for his ass to knock someone out in under a minute. Or, definitely in the first round or something. Now, while Mike Tyson may be old, he still got it. He definitely still got it. And I don't know Bobby Lashley's full background. I know he did, MMA, before he came back to WWE. But I think it was actually with Bellator. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't know. I don't know, Bobby. I don't know. Mike Tyson's crazy. He's tame, but he still got that damn face tattoo. But I'll be interested though to see it. Hopefully it lasts more than one round. I tell you that. Also, AEW had released apparently their console game Fight Forever is appearing now on Amazon for pre-order, and that's for all the consoles: PS4, 5, Xbox, PC, Nintendo Switch. Apparently it's listed for $60, with a release date of December 31st. Normally, don't hold that date. Normally, that date is always thrown out there on Amazon when the release date hasn't been formally announced yet, and they'll just put it for the end of the year because I'm guessing it's supposed to be released by the end of the year. But once we get, trailer and an actual release date, you'll see it. So you can actually pre-order it, which I'm not going to do. I don't really pre-order things like that anymore. And plus, I have no idea what this game's going to be like. This game could be like, the back in the day type of wrestling games. I believe it's by Ukes. It could be like, No Mercy back in the day. It could be like the SmackDown versus Raws. Or it could be like WWE 2K20 or 2K19. I forgot which one it was. I think it was 2K20. So I'm not going to pre-order. I'm not going to even get it day one. I'm probably not going to get it 1 month in. I'm going to wait till that bad boy goes on sale. Sorry, not sorry. That's how I do my games. And I'm going to wait to see what everyone says about it. I'm going to wait till they, release the patch or whatever that's going to come out, a couple of weeks after the release. But I'm hoping that it's good. There's been a lot of rumors that there has been some back and forth with developers and stuff like that. And, people are at odds, and especially, people whose contracts got released and stuff like that. You don't know who's in it. I think that, I don't think Daniel Bryan is in it. I believe CM Punk made it in. But of course, a lot of the people in probably stables that we know are probably not in the game at all. But I'm interested to know like what the actual features are going to be. Is there going to be a GM mode? What the trophies look like. You know what I mean? Like I want more details before I just drop information on there as well. Also, Ric Flair had his last match this past weekend. I did not watch it. I read the results about it, and I read about how much of a 5-star match that was. But yeah, I really didn't expect for there to be such a full card. I probably would have checked out some of the matches. I don't know. I probably might still check out some of the matches. But we had the Motor City Machine Guns going against the Wolves, Killer Cross going against Davey Boy Smith. Jonathan Gresham was there. He was in a 4 corners match to determine the number 1 contender for the Progress World Championship. So it seems like as of right now, he is still wrestling. The 4 Horsemen, well, no, not the 4 Horsemen, but Brian Pillman Jr. and Brock Anderson going against Ricky Martin and Kerry Martin, the Rock and Roll Express. Ray Phoenix. This is the match I want to see. Ray Phoenix going against Bandino, Laredo Kid, and Black Taurus. I heard that was the match of the night. And then of course, we had the main event of Ric Flair and Andrade going against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett with Karen Jarrett by his side. And that DDP was there, Bret Hart, Mick Foley, The Undertaker. The Undertaker was probably sitting there like, nah, I'm good. I'll stay fucking retired. I read that match was a mess. Ric Flair don't remember part of it or something like that. He seemed out of it. Andrade apparently had a broken nose. There was the spot where Andrade tried to put brass knuckles in his hands, and Ric Flair was kind of like out of it. Look, I'm really hoping this is the actual last match. I know, whether it's for money or attention or something like that, he just cannot let go. But I'm hoping that this is it. Like, sail off to the sunset. This match was for like 27 minutes, which was probably, honestly, like 26 minutes too long or something. No offense. I heard that Jeff Jarrett was really good in this match, which really says something. Apparently, like, he was the best part of it. Like, he was the one that was, like, really good in the match, which I really find hard to believe, even though I didn't watch it, that we have Andrade and Jay Lethal in it, and apparently Jeff Jarrett was the one who was the star. I don't really plan to watch it. Like I said, I would like to watch that Fatal 4-Way match with Ray Phoenix featured, because I heard it was pretty good. But yeah, I really didn't expect for it to be like a full card. I knew that there were other matches with it, but I really didn't expect for like a full-on card. Also, going to WWE's side, there has been some suspensions and some injuries. Becky Lynch has suffered a separated shoulder at SmackDown, and then Ronda Rousey, because of her actions from SmackDown, was quote-unquote fined and suspended for attacking a referee. But, whatever. So before I get into SummerSlam and, the aftermath of it, I'm going to get into AEW Dynamite. First off, Jon Moxley versus Rush was actually a pretty good match. Of course, we had to have some type of blood in it. That is pretty much what is expected with every Moxley match. Also, we had Danhausen going against Absolute Ricky Starks, which Ricky Starks won, and then he decided he wanted to face someone else. And here comes Hook. And then I was cracking up because Taz, and I felt bad for, well, I really felt bad for Taz, but Taz was put in a difficult position because it's obviously his son. We all know it's his son. But Ricky Starks is part of Team Taz. So as soon as Hook came out, he kept saying, Ricky better watch out. Ricky better watch out. But I know he was a happy pop. In the end, Hook won the FTW Championship, which I'm fine with. Comes back to New York like they had said. But, props to Ricky Starks. At first, when they brought that title out, there was some expectations, but then it kind of became an accessory after a certain point. But shout out to Ricky Starks for really putting some importance to that title. I wish that they could have did more of the open challenges with the title that he was kind of doing before he lost the belt. We'll see what happens with Hook. I mean, obviously, with Hook's undefeated streak and the way that he is, he's going to hold on to it for a while. But maybe he'll, do the open challenge or something like that. I mean, the kid barely talks, so I don't know if at that point, if they're doing all this, especially with Hobbs turning on Ricky Starks, with Ricky obviously turning face, that Taz will then stand by his son, and then we'll have the father-son teaming up and stuff like that, and, we'll have Hook present more challenges. But Taz will be the mouthpiece since Hook doesn't talk at all. Also, something I forgot to mention was JAS coming out for Jericho to challenge Moxley to a match. JAS completely cracks me up because they love calling the AEW fans the AEW Galaxy, and then now they say appreciate us, which is, of course, a parody of Roman Reigns' Acknowledge Me. I don't know what they're going to do now because soon we may not be having as much sports entertainment as it is. So I don't know if they're going to keep going with this spew or not, but, we will see. We also had a pretty good match of, Dante Martin going against Sammy Guevara as well. We had a handicap match of Mark Sterling and Tony Nese going against Swerve Strickland. It is what it is at that point. We also had the women's championship match. Hey, remember the women's champion, Thunder Rosa? Wow. She also had a match as well. It was a fine match. It was pretty good. We also had Jungle Boy coming out with a fiery promo, sitting there calling Christian a pussy, which, oh my gosh, boy, okay? Jungle Boy is now called Jungle Teen. He's not Jungle Man like people are saying on the internet. No, he's a jungle teen. He's going through the little rebel phase where he discovers curse words and stuff like that. Fired shots to Christian by mentioning his divorce and stuff like that. Christian, of course, just destroying people, saying that he's going to bury Jungle Boy along with his dad. Jungle Boy kind of getting to a very heartfelt point by saying how he had to, he pretty much dug the grave or buried his father with his own hands or something like that. But wow. I really cannot wait to continue to see this feud between these two. As far as the match, I don't know. I don't know how good it's going to be. I have a feeling that the match may not be as good as the back and forth promos that we've been getting, but I'm going to hold out hope. I'll hold out hope for it as well. And then we get to the main event, Bryan Danielson going against Daniel Garcia, which was a good match. It was a pretty good match. Seemed like Daniel Bryan was legit hurt. Cause they was playing up the fact that maybe he came back too early. Of course, Tony Khan kept mentioning that Daniel Bryan wanted to come back early, but Tony Khan kind of like pushed his return back further because, you don't want Daniel Bryan to come back too early and get injured again. But so I don't know if he's legit injured or if this was kind of like the storyline for the match. Well, I haven't really followed up with any rumors or news with that just yet. So if he's actually injured, that is a great deal of a shame, especially with All Out right around the corner. I mean, I wish that he could have held out just a little bit more and, returned so he can have a great match at All Out. But I was completely shocked that Daniel Garcia defeated Daniel Bryan. I'm not too mad at it, because that really helps out Daniel Garcia, especially if they're, working on, bringing up a lot of the younger wrestlers with a lot of these big names. Those people was legit upset about it. Like, you can't be too mad because it's something that they have to start doing. Tony Khan cannot be relying on these big names for far too long, as we're seeing a lot of them are starting to get injured. Like Andrade and Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, the big names are going to start getting injured. Adam Cole, for example, as well. They're going to start getting injured, and they're going to need like big stars to kind of like follow in those shoes. Forbidden Door was the biggest example. Hopefully that was a big wake-up call to Tony Khan to like really work on some of these people who are waiting around in the background while a lot of the big names are getting a lot of the time on TV. So I'm not too mad of it. The only thing I really kind of didn't like was the finish. He defeated him in the sharpshooter. I wish that Daniel Garcia kind of pulled out a more of a vicious submission and then have Bryan Danielson pass out. I feel as though like more likely mainly because of WWE, like the sharpshooter is no longer as effective as it used to be. Now maybe, Daniel Garcia is trying to bring it back as something, but I wish that he did a different submission and have Bryan Danielson, pass out to it. And then that would have like really put over, I feel that would really put over Daniel Garcia a lot more. But yeah, that overall, Dynamite was fine, It's now to the point for me where Dynamite is like it's coasting. Like, I feel like once we get closer to the pay-per-views, that's when Dynamite really ramps up because, of course, they're trying to get everyone to pay their money for it. But, once we're like, it feels kind of like not too much the dead period that I always call it between SummerSlam and Royal Rumble for WWE, but it kind of like slightly feels that way. Maybe between WrestleMania and SmackDown, I should say, a comparison, where things are coasting. Like, there'll be some really good things that happens on Dynamite, but overall, it's just like coasting. Like, I don't feel the need that I have to tune in tonight to watch it live. Like, I'm fine with watching it on a replay, and that's what I did with last week's Dynamite. I watched it on a replay. So I wasn't like, I need to watch this tonight like I did with Raw, for example. But and I forgot to mention Jake Hager had helped, he didn't really help Daniel Garcia to win, but, he played a factor in it as well. But like, yeah, I'm just waiting for All Out, hopefully CM Punk comes back so that we get something with the title. Of course, they announced that the trios title is coming as well. Finally, can't wait to see how that goes. There is a tease of who the Young Bucks may be teaming up with. It could be Adam Cole, it could be Hangman Page, it could be a returning Kenny Omega. Who knows? But I am excited to see what happens with that. So, getting into SmackDown, SummerSlam. Wow. SummerSlam took place in a stadium, ladies and gentlemen, and that crowd was hot. I loved it. I loved the fact that SummerSlam took place in a stadium, and I feel as though the Big Four should take place in stadiums. Especially with a crowd that's hot, they're excited because this is the first pay-per-view without Vince, and there's like such an excitement in the air. And Papa H, that everyone now calls him Papa H, but it really gave a WrestleMania feel. Like, it really felt important, which I sincerely love. Like, the Elimination Chambers, all the smaller type of pay-per-views, yeah, do an arena with 10,000 or 11,000 people, 15,000 people, whatever. But when it comes to especially Mania, SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, and what am I missing? In Survivor Series, yeah, throw it into a stadium. Let's do it. Like, this is the big four pay-per-views. These are the pay-per-views that kind of put you guys on the map. Let's make it feel like another damn Mania. Like, we shouldn't have to wait until April for a pay-per-view to feel big. And I really appreciate it. I know, SummerSlam was booked in the stadium before Vince retired, but I really love the fact that it took place and it made it like the energy of the crowd was just like so good. So props to, I believe it was Tennessee. Yeah. It was it was Nashville, Tennessee. So props to them for, really putting on that energy for, what was that, 4 hours? So, yeah. Getting into the matches. First of all, we had the opening match being the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair going against Becky Lynch. This match for me, it started off slow. It really did. It's something like, I understand that matches start off slow and then they just have to pick up. And then, the finish things kind of get quicker and quicker. But sometimes with a lot of these matches, when it starts off slow, it like stays slow for a very, very long time. And sometimes you kind of like, not really get bored, but you kind of like, all right, you're just waiting for the match to end. But with this match, the finish was, very good. There was a Spanish fly and then, the KOD. It was a lot of near finishes towards the end as well. Both women did an excellent job. In the end, of course, Bianca Belair retained her title. Becky Lynch then wanted to shake Bianca Belair's hand. Give the whole Ring of Honor type handshake, which, Bianca Belair shook her hand and they actually shook hands. There was no turn or anything like that. And they hugged. I don't know what Becky said in Bianca's ear, but Bianca started tearing up. Of course, this was a hometown win for Bianca Belair as well. Becky Lynch wearing some crazy shit, of course. Ever since she turned to big time Beck, she's been wearing like these David Bowie type of crazy things. And then, Bianca celebrating and stuff like that, and then we hear the music of Bayley. Now, of course, a lot of people were expecting for Sasha to show up or something like that, but I will take a Bayley as well. So Bayley comes out, crowd pops. It's great to see Bayley come back. She stops in the middle of the aisle, and then there's more music, and it's motherfucking Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai, who was released recently. Papa H called her up and said, "Sweetie, I'm in charge now. Get your ass back here." She comes down the ring, brand new hair, who's this? Stands next to Bayley, and then the music hits, and my boo, my spirit animal, her name is Io Sky, but I'm still going to call her Io Shirai, comes out. Love her theme. She comes out, stands next to Bayley as well. And everybody's hype. Everybody's like, oh shit, Papa H bringing the kids up now. He's sitting here, rubbing his hands together like Birdman and saying, it's my time to shine, time to play the game. And he got his kids now. Papa got full custody of his kids. That's what happened. Papa got full custody of the kids, and he told the kids, let's have some damn fun. And that's what we got within the first 20 minutes of SummerSlam. It wasn't, they stood face to face to Bianca Belair. Becky comes in, stands by Bianca Belaire's side, and then we get a face off between Bayley and Becky, which is like, okay, I'll take that as well. Which of course spilled over to Raw, which I'll get into once I get to that recap as well. But yeah, the future is exciting. Yeah, I mean, the future is very exciting. So then after that, we get Logan Paul versus The Miz. 2022 wrestling, like I keep saying, it's crazy. This was a really good match between these two. Logan Paul's athletic, which is what we saw at SummerSlam as well. Ciampa come out with the lime green. We know that, hey, Ciampa, Papa gonna get you as well. Logan Paul with a moonsault from the apron. Ciampa got ejected, but he decided to stay. Then AJ Styles show up. We got an AJ Styles sighting. Logan Paul doing a phenomenal forearm. He also did a frog splash from the top rope to the Miz on the table. Stadium of fans cheering for Logan Paul. I'm shocked because I'm like, wait a minute. Am I also cheering for motherfucking Logan Paul, who was booed like crazy 4 months ago? 4 months ago, the last time we saw this motherfucker, he was booed like crazy. And now he put on a wrestling show and stuff like that, and now he is cheered like crazy. Celebrities wrestling nowadays is great. Okay? And I can say this, I was alive and I watched Lawrence Taylor wrestle at WrestleMania. I believe it was WrestleMania 11. If you never saw that match, go check it out. It was him, a bunch of all-stars from NFL going against Bam Bam Bigelow and some of the heels from WWE. And my goodness, that match, it was nothing compared to what we're seeing these celebrities do now. They're obviously like wrestling and stuff like that. Nothing against Lawrence Taylor, bless his heart. He had Salt and Pepper come out and everything like that. But geez Louise, geez Louise. And I'm sure that there are people out there who could sit there and say some other celebrity matches that has happened that they rather forget about. It wasn't really a match, but there were spots with Pete Rose, for example, as well. Just things that you don't really want to remember. And I'm sure that there's a bigger one than Lawrence Taylor, but that's the one that I remember in my head. If there are worse ones out there, I buried them deep. I buried them deeper than the Undertaker buries people, okay? Deeper than John Cena burying people, okay? But yeah, so Logan Paul won. Crowd going crazy. We also had a segment with Maximum Male Models with Pure Life water commercial, which was oddly satisfying and disturbing at the same time. It was a lot of water. It was a lot of water, a lot of moisture, I guess I could say. A lot of moist skin in that commercial. It was a lot. A lot of short shorts in there as well. I'm just really curious. Like I keep saying, I don't know where we're going with this as far as how it connects into the ring. We had a sighting of Max Dupree, and we see Maxine Dupree. It seems like Maxine Dupree is going to be more, the face of the model gimmick. A lot of people are waiting for Max Dupree to suddenly become LA Knight. Fingers crossed that happens, but who knows? Who knows? Also, we had for the United States title, Bobby Lashley going against Theory. This was a short match. First of all, I always love Lashley's entrance. Just especially when it pans up before the lights come on and you see him like flexing as fuck and he's like crossing his arms, stuff like that. That's me in my head at the gym, by the way. But yeah, that match was short and sweet, truthfully. Also, shout out to the person with the sign during that match that said Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. You're an OG, you know what's up. But yeah, I really didn't expect this match to go the way it went. Like, I should have expected the match to go the way it went, but I didn't expect it. Like, I thought this was going to be more back and forth than just like completely one-sided, the Theory getting his ass whooped. And then, of course, Theory immediately getting put into the Hurt Lock and tapping out. I don't know. I feel like I still have a bit of the Vince McMahon taint, on me. When you taste something really bad and you try to like drink water and stuff like that, you like take a lighter to your tongue to get rid of your taste buds, and then you wake up the next day and you still taste it. That's how it is with me as far as Vince McMahon, okay? It's just like I still have that like bit of a jerk reaction, like, okay, this is what's going to happen. And then Papa H comes in and says, Jaydee, be fucking easy. Guess what? You're going to watch some wrestling today. Like, things are going to kind of make more sense nowadays than what it used to be. Because I thought, like I predicted that Theory was going to win the title here. I'm 100% honest. I'm 100% honest. Now, I would have loved, like I said, for Bobby Lashley to lose the title and then sit there and remember, oh shit, I'm going after the wrong title, and then go after the title that he never technically lost. But I'm fine with him winning, retaining here with the US title. Sometimes you gotta be happy with what you got. After that, we had the Mysterios going against Judgment Day. This was a no disqualification tag team match. I need Papa H to explain to us whenever there is a no disqualification tag team match that, no disqualification, meaning, you might as well make it a tornado tag. I mean, why are we tagging in and out? Like, if someone doesn't get tagged in, what's going to happen? They're going to get disqualified or something? No. So I don't understand why we're tagging in and out if it's no disqualification. Like, this should have been a tornado tag. I don't understand why Rhea Ripley didn't get involved from the get-go. It's no disqualification. She could have walked in there, grabbed a bunch of chairs, walked in there, and just whopped Dominic in the face. Don't know. First of all, the Judgment Day entrance was very nice. Thumbs up. It was pretty House of Blackish there. But I'm not complaining. The Dark Evil, stable with that type of entrance. I'm not complaining about it. But yeah, I didn't understand why Rhea didn't interfere from the get-go. And then of course we had Edge coming back. I really would have loved, and I found out that they did this in the pre-show, which made no sense. I really would have loved if they popped up the little vignette that they did of his, because he started to write I will return or something like I'm coming to, and that's where it stopped at Raw. I would have loved if they had did the vignette before he popped up. It was like, I would have loved it because it's something that they did it with Y2J when he became Y2J. They did it with The Undertaker as well. Like, his joint came up when he became American Badass. It was like a vignette that they played with like these little girls and stuff like that, jumping rope, very Freddy like. And then when it came for him the time to come out, they played the vignette, and then the little girls was like, he's here, and then came out The Undertaker. Like, that entrance for Edge would have been like so much better. Not saying it was bad, but it would have been so much better if they had played that vignette. They didn't have to play the whole thing. They could have made it short and sweet, of him walking, and then you see him writing blood, I'm coming to, and then you say he could write for you or something like that, or at SummerSlam, whatever. and then have the, the fire come out and Edge coming out of the Cody elevator. I know it's the Brood. I know it's the Brood entrance. But I did, when I saw it, I laughed and I was like, oh, it's the Cody elevator, because Cody kind of brought it back out again. But very cool entrance from Edge. Comes back, of course, whips everyone's ass, and then the Mysterios retain from that. And we'll get into the fallout of that from the next day. And then we get I was about to say bum ass Baron Corbin, but we get Happy Corbin going against Pat McAfee. Happy Corbin comes out and then has these midway down the aisle. This men's choir, bless their heart, started singing Bum Ass Corbin, and then they also sung Pat McAfee out as well. I forgot the name of the song, and I'm going to slap myself for it, because I know the name of it is at the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember. But it was a song that Pat McAfee came out in Mania. I know it's a popular song. That's probably why he couldn't use it again, but I would have loved if he came out to that song again. But however, you paid for the choir, you gotta use them. First of all, oh my gosh, can we talk about the MVP, Michael Cole, for this match? Listen, Michael Cole no longer has the voices in his head, like Randy Orton, and all of a sudden, Michael Cole have like this big ass personality. It's like the dad's away and the kid is going to play. Like Michael Cole, of course, Michael Cole was straight up biased during this match. He got to go all out for his boy, Pat McAfee. Even got a little bit gangster on Corbin there. Corbin looked at him when he slammed Pat McAfee on the table. Michael Cole goes, what? Like, what the fuck you want? And then he pushed him down, and Michael Cole, like, I may have watched it wrong, but I felt like Michael Cole sat on there, and I felt like he was going to get up and get in his face. But he was like, he was nonstop on it as well. Superplex from Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee went to do a I forgot what he called it, but it was basically a swanton bomb. Off the top rope, he almost fell, almost lost his balance, but he kept it. Good job for you. It'll still appear on Botchamania though. And he got Corbin back in the ring. There was the rough bump, and Pat McAfee took advantage of it. He did a low blow and did a suck it, and then beat Pat McAfee by pinfall. Went over to celebrate Michael Cole jumping up, like being so happy for his boy and everything like that. Corey Graves was upset about it, and he did a suck it to Corey Graves as well. So it was a pretty good match as well. We also got Drew McIntyre coming out to cut a promo, because of course they realized they had too much time, and so they had Drew McIntyre come out with the sword. Somebody please tell me why he still has the sword. He talked about how he is going to be facing whoever is champion at Clash at the Castle. Then he got this little boy named Colt, got him popular as Colt. Asked the kid what his name was Colt. And I think he mentioned this will be the first time ever that he will be seeing Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns in a last standing match here in Nashville, and Colt got a little chant. Felt, happy for the little guy that he got put over. But yeah, it was fine, that we're hyping up this match between him and either Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar at that point. But it is what it is. Next up, we had the tag team match, the Usos versus the Street Profits. Everybody's just waiting for the Street Profits to break up, Swerve here is that they don't ever break up and that they just stay as tag teams like the Usos. I'm still waiting for my Uso versus Uso feud, but maybe Papa H will grant that wish. Who knows? The Street Profits coming out with the Titans cheerleaders, which was, fine, whatever. Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders does it better. they came out with the football jerseys, I believe it was, as well. No red or blue cups or wherever. But this match was pretty good. Angelo going over the top rope. I forgot what he did, but oh my goodness, I kind of didn't expect him to do that. But this was a pretty good match. I'm not understanding why we used Jeff Jarrett. Why did we use Double J in this? Like, he wasn't really known really for his tag team matches. I get that's the Nashville type of connection, but I didn't understand why we did this. He didn't really add to the match. So I don't know if this was like maybe a little slide of a bit of a promotion for his match with Flair. I'm not quite sure. But he really didn't do too much. In the end, the Usos retained. I'm wondering what's the end game here with the Usos, and even with, the the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship as well. Are we uniting these titles to make it like one belt, or is everyone going to be carrying two belts all over the place? But people kind of sensed that maybe Montez Ford was going to turn on Angelo Dawkins. It was Angelo who ultimately got pinned here, but we didn't get that. Next up, we had a Kid Rock sighting. Kid Rock, of course, I don't know who he was sitting next to, but he kissed her, tongued her down, and then he gave the Stone Cold salute, which poor guys in the back could not black out the image quick enough. We got a quick, like, 2-second of him putting up the double middle fingers, and the screen goes black. And then we have Riddle coming out to cut a promo. They said that he was having, I don't know if it was a neck injury or a back injury, but he looked really good for to been so injured that he couldn't participate in SummerSlam. But he called out Rollins. Rollins, of course, coming out, running to him, stuff like that. There was a fight in the aisle, which went into the ring. The fans sitting there singing Seth Rollins' theme, and then of course he curb stomped Riddle. And then everybody kind of pulled them away. Whatever. Just so I guess this was so Riddle and Rollins can actually get a paycheck. I don't know why this match was pulled. I don't know if it was for time constraints or something like that, but we could have had something between these two, a little bit more than what we got. I don't know. Yeah. Well, we kind of got the answer on Raw as far as what Seth Rollins is going to do. But I was actually kind of looking forward to this match between these two. At least just a one-off match, if Triple H didn't want to have a full-on feud between these two, fine, but I wish that we could have got a little something with these two. After that, we had the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. This was a short match. Liv versus Ronda Rousey. Look, I was not the biggest fan of this match. I liked what happened a bit afterwards, but of course, on a pay-per-view, no matter how good it is, there's always going to be one match that's kind of like, it was alright. And this was the match here. Seriously, I mean, everybody kind of figured that Ronda Rousey was going to win because, as much as people love Liv Morgan, there was like no way that she was going to like beat Ronda Rousey clean. Ronda was, fucking her arm up with all the different variations of the arm lock that she put her in. Like, I don't know how Liv Morgan lasted for that long. As many times that Ronda Rousey has won matches with that armbar, that people tapped out pretty quickly, but Liv Morgan, through the power of positivity, was able to get enough strength to get into the ropes and everything like that. And I wasn't too happy with the finish. Like, I get that, I guess we're supposed to remember that Ronda Rousey is not technically a wrestler, but the fact that she is an athlete, she came from UFC and stuff like that, I would at least, would have thought she would have more ring awareness as far as wrestling, to know that when your shoulders are on the mat and you see a ref 3 inches away from you counting, that obviously he is counting your shoulders. But apparently Ronda had Liv Morgan in the armbar. Her shoulders were down. The ref goes to count. Before he hits 3, you see Liv Morgan tapping, but he didn't see it, of course, because he counting Ronda Rousey's shoulders. He counts to 3. Liv Morgan retains her title for some reason. Ronda Rousey loses her mind. She starts attacking Liv Morgan. She attacks the referee as well. And it's looking like, sweetie, you can't be mad at no one but yourself. Like, it's not like the ref was like 5 feet away or something like that, and you were so concentrating on the armbar that you didn't hear him. Like, he was 3 inches away from you. Like, you felt the vibration of him slapping the ring next to your ear. So I don't know. That match was whatever. So I guess we're going to get her going against Liv Morgan again at the next pay-per-view, maybe at Clash at the Castle. Jeez, I don't know why they made that pay-per-view premium live event. I keep saying pay-per-view. Premium live event was such a tongue twister. But I guess we're going to get it at a random Smackdown, something like that. I mean, I don't know how they're going to keep Liv Morgan away from, well, Ronda Rousey has been suspended. So obviously Liv Morgan is going to live to see another day. But the day that Ronda Rousey comes back, she's coming for that title. But I guess we got to enjoy the title reign while it lasts. And then we get to the main event. It is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Brock driving a tractor to the ring, which was, something new. Then he gets on top of the tractor. I don't know my names. But he gets on top of the attachment of the tractor, and he does his own introduction, Paul Heyman style. Of course, he jumps off of that to attack Roman Reigns. We had a lot of craziness around the ring. We had stairs, we had tables, I believe we had chairs, we had titles, we had announce tables. It was just a bunch of pandemonium going on. Paul Heyman, put himself in front of, tried to distract Brock Lesnar. Of course, he got, put through a table as well. The Usos came out to try to help as well. At a certain point, it looked like Brock was going to win, but Roman Reigns was able to pull himself up onto the ropes, and Brock Lesnar just couldn't take it anymore, got into the tractor and used the tractor to lift up the ring, and Roman Reigns fell out of it. Michael Cole going crazy, cursing, first of all. Michael Cole was just going crazy throughout this whole pay-per-view. Of course, the moment that everyone talked about is telling the ref to count faster, for Christ's sake. But in the end, it took a lot for Brock Lesnar to go down. Theory comes out too, to attempt to cash in. He hit Roman Reigns a couple of times. Look, it was a big part of me that actually wanted him to cash in and make it a triple threat match, just to see how much more chaotic this match can get. But before he can even say the word cash in, here comes Brock Lesnar, gives him an F5. Theory is dead for the rest of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, no, I really shouldn't say that. I'm sorry for saying that, because it just hit me that Theory was out for Raw because he had a family member had passed away. So I'm not going to say dead. Theory was out for the rest of the evening. He was done. He did not get up to try to cash in again. I'll say that. Then the Usos and Roman, they grabbed like a bunch of shit. They grabbed pieces of the announce table, chairs, the steps, stuff like that, and put it on top of Brock. And while the ref was counting, and then the ref hit 10, and Roman Reigns retains. So, I don't know what we're going to do as far as Roman Reigns, with the title. Obviously, he's going against Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. But I don't know what like I said, the end game. Is he going to keep the titles until WrestleMania and go against his cousin Rock that, they've been teasing? If that even happens, is he going to still be champ come Royal Rumble time? What are we doing here? He done defeated everyone. So I guess, eventually it will be The Rock. They'll take the titles off of him. Will it be Seth Rollins? Who knows? But getting into Raw afterwards, the excitement from SummerSlam, everyone decided to tune into Raw. I kind of tuned into it a bit late. I was at the gym at the time, came home probably like almost an hour into Raw. But apparently Bianca Belaire had opened up with a promo. Well, no, Becky Lynch, sorry, opened up with a promo, mentioned how she has the separated shoulder and she'll be out for quite some time. Bianca Belaire came out as well. No, not Bianca Belaire. Bianca Belaire did not come out, I believe. Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai then comes out, and no, I'm remembering things incorrectly. I think they attacked Becky backstage actually. And then Bianca tried to help out, but obviously Becky is a babyface now. And then they had announced that they announced that the U.S. Championship is now, important again, and they are having two trios matches. The winner of each match is going to go against each other, and the winner of that match will go against Bobby Lashley for the United States title. We had The Miz, AJ Styles, and Mustafa Ali. Now, I didn't catch this match, but I saw that AJ Styles had won the match, and I heard it was pretty good. We had Montez Ford going against Seth Rollins, which I heard was a really good match. Seth Rollins looks like he is going to go after the championship as well, which I'm not mad at. Like I had said before, I would have loved for it to be an actual feud between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, to bring up the Shield and stuff like that. Like I want to see more of trolling Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns. We also had Alexa Bliss going against Asuka, which that turned into a bunch of craziness because Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai came out, and then Bianca Belair came out, and there was a bunch of craziness with that. And then it was Ciampa versus Dolph Ziggler versus Chad Gable. The winner of that match will go against AJ Styles for a shot at the U.S. title. I was fine with whoever wins. AJ Styles against any of them three would turn out to be a good match. But in the end, it was Baby Papa H. It was Kratos. It was Tommaso Ciampa winning the match. And he's going to go against AJ Styles. And this was the point of the night that I said, AJ Styles versus Tommaso Ciampa. Is this thing that they call wrestling? Like, are we finally getting what the hell the other W means in WWE? Like, I know it's world and entertainment, but what the hell did that middle W means? Come to find out, ladies and gentlemen, that W stands for wrestling. And we got that at Raw. And so I was excited. AJ Styles versus Ciampa. We also had the mention of Bianca Belair versus Io Shirai, which I was like chomping at the bits. Couldn't wait to see that match as well. Edge came out and had cut a promo against Judgment Day. But, happy for Edge. But let's get to the women's match of Bianca Belair versus Io Shirai. Now, was it really a great 5-star match? No, there was a bit of sloppiness with the match, but overall, I loved it. We had Bayley and Dakota Kai come out, and then of course Asuka and Alexa Bliss comes out, and so we're starting to see, more of little more something different with Alexa Bliss. It looks like we're maybe going back to the goddess gimmick or something, or we're sticking with this hybrid character that she is, just to sell more of the doll toys or whatever. But my goodness, it was a it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. And then first of all, going back to Edge, shout out to the fact that he got his theme back. I was singing it in my living room, even singing past the time that it turned off. Edge theme song is, Edge theme song to me is what Judas is to AEW fans. You hear the first three notes and you have to sing the whole thing. So that's how it was for me. Um, Next up, we had Tommaso Ciampa versus AJ Styles. Great match, great match, great match. Can't say that enough. I am slightly surprised that it's Tommaso Ciampa, and then it killed me because people were upset that it was Ciampa who won. Talking some, oh, it's he won because of Triple H. It's like, yeah, I mean the point of what WWE needs to do right now is to put over new stars, because we're seeing less of Roman Reigns, we're seeing less of Brock Lesnar, we're seeing less of a lot of people. Edge, we're seeing less of as well. Randy Orton is injured. Cody Rhodes is injured as well. We have to bring up some new names. Like we can't be spinning the same people over and over again. John Cena is now in Hollywood. He can't be coming back and pulling out like 6 matches in a week like he used to. Even The Rock as well. They're now big names in Hollywood. They can't give all their time to WWE. And Roman Reigns is kind of feeling the same way. We don't see him every week like we used to back in the day. Brock Lesnar as well. Brock Lesnar we don't see every single week like we used to back in the day. So now it's time for, a lot of newer people to get their time. I could have sworn this was the biggest complaint that everyone had when Vince McMahon was in charge, was for new names to come around, but I guess because it's not the name that people like, that's why we're upset that Ciampa won. First of all, I can't wait for Ciampa versus Bobby Lashley. I hope it's not a squash match. I know, yes, Tommaso Ciampa is small compared to Bobby Lashley, but I need the Psycho to come back from the Black and Gold NXT. And I know I'm living in the old days of the Black and Gold NXT, but just the spirit that it had, the fact that when people came out to wrestle, like, you knew it was going to be a good match, and I love that feeling. I love the feeling of tuning into something and knowing I'm going to get a good match. We also had the Usos going against the Mysterios. This was mainly, rehashing the Judgment Day, and the Mysterios as well. Um, and that was the main event, which really wasn't that bad of a match either. Um, but yeah, overall, for all, pretty good night. And now I can't wait to see what happens with SmackDown. Can't wait to see what comes up the next couple of weeks till we get to Clash at the Castle, and then whatever the next pay-per-view is. I think they go back to Saudi as well. Like, can't wait to see the era of Papa H. Let's see people who is going to be coming out the woodworks for their opportunities again. Of course, the biggest thing that everyone talks about is who's going to leave AEW now to go back to WWE in the arms of Papa H. Of course, the biggest name that comes out is Adam Cole. And Tony Khan definitely cleared it up, sat there and was like, no, Adam Cole signed a 5-year contract. Nice try. And apparently so did Malachi Black as well. But I would say after that great Monday Night Raw, Tony Khan now has a couple of hours to respond with a really good Dynamite. Look, I'm excited for this era of WWE, them stepping up the plate as far as the entertainment value go. Well, not entertainment value, but wrestling value goes for fans. And then put the pressure on Tony Khan to start putting on like some, not really 5-star, but like some 4.5-star Dynamites and Rampages as well. Look, the biggest thing that comes out of stuff like this is that it's all a win for wrestling fans. We're going to have companies, fighting it out, duking it out for our attention. Even though it comes on 2 different nights, it's still fighting for our attention. And it's going to be pretty much like, hey, I put on this good show, you respond. Hey, I put on this good show, you respond. You know? But it's all well and good for us. And I still understand people taking one side over the other. It is what it is. But just enjoy the fact that we have all this type of wrestling, and it's not like we're not in the days where we're stuck just watching WWE because that's what's on TV. That we have a lot more. We got AEW, possibly Ring of Honor. We got Impact. We have a lot of other companies, and New Japan, of course, coming over to America. Like, we got a lot going on here, and I'm happy for this period of the Papa H era as well. But that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to Julian Rob Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast and AlternativeMinds.com, Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show, Chris from We Talk Next podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show, Nando and Larry from Half K Podcast, Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling, and then shout out to Straight Talk Wrestling, Circle Debate, and Top Rope Wrestling Talk as well. Coming up next week, going to be some more reviews of what we're going to get with Dynamite, SmackDown, and Raw, as well as we continue on the era of Papa. I know I sound like 11 from Stranger Things on that one, but be sure to hop on Twitter, follow me at JAYDE C137, that's JDC137, and follow the podcast at Wrestlebread as well. You can click the links in the bios for the Instagrams, the Facebook, the YouTube channel as well. Leave a review, let me know your thoughts, and until next time, guys, peace.